Okay. Recording. All right, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go off to the races. Hi, everybody. Today is Thursday, June 6th, 7 p.m. Central Time. This is day 4 of the 5-day fitness bot chatbot challenge. If this is your first day here, on my screen, you see a bunch of notes here on the left. I'm going to share this in the group, and this is the notes that we've been following throughout the week as we've made our fitness bot. Okay. So I'm going to copy this link. I'm going to paste it in this chat. And also, I think I recognize everyone here, but if you're watching this later somehow and you're not in my school group, you can get to there from this document. It's a workflowy document, which is something I use all the time. It's totally free. It's how I share information and use it and organize it. So y'all have that now. Are there any questions from yesterday? No? No? Awesome. All right, let's keep going. So where we left it at yesterday was we were testing our reception bot. This is the first time that we had a chance to test our bot. And we know that kind of messed up here on class type. And I know that because if you recall, we were looking through the dashboard setting, the dashboard menu for this particular bot, and it shows us all the things that it's doing. It shows that there's been errors and things like that. So that's how I troubleshooted this. So we need to tweak these. I need to tweak the prompting for just this. And what's nice about CloseBot is that it's really easy to tweak individual steps in the whole flow rather than having like one long prompt. So it does make it slightly easier. Let me turn on auto entry for the waiting room. Okay, cool. So this is the question for class type. And if you remember that the question is, what kind of class do they want? Group, class, or private session? This prompt is pretty basic. Find out what type of class they want. It really is generic. And it was kind of finding out because it was talking to them about kids' classes based on what they answered previously, because that's what the bot was thinking it should do. And that's not what I wanted to do. So this extra prompting allows you to really fine tune your general, prompt that you put in there, the nice short prompt you can put in, which makes this really easy. This is how you really dial it in when you're running into issues like we just ran into. So I know that I really want the bot to find out what type of, I want it to find out what type of class. And if they don't know the type of classes, to let them know. So in this sub prompting, I'll try something like the types of classes are either group or private. That might be enough actually for the prompt. And we could try it because we'll do it through this testing here in the CloseBot directly rather than going through the chat widget for speed's sake. Okay. So the types of classes are either group or private. And I'm going to change this prompt here. I'm going to say, ask if they would like a group or private class. I'll make it really implicit. This probably won't be necessary now. I'm going to take that out because I made this so much more explicit that it's, it should really work well. So let's find out how that worked. I'll hit save. I'm going to go to the test your bot. I'll clear this out. And we haven't done any testing yet, so I think we got pretty far without even having to use the bot tester. 3 days, that's pretty good. All right, or 3 hours, not 3 days, but you know what I mean. So let's do this. So I'm going to say hi to this reception bot. I know it's going to ask for my name, email, phone. This is the general speed of CloseBot. It's pretty good. Very human-like. Okay, let's see if we can do 2 things at once. I know we can do 2 things at once because sometimes it takes a while to test bots. Cool. Hello, may I have your full name for our records? Sure. My name is Josh Rosenfeld. Okay. So while we're doing this, something else we need to do is create our affirmation bot maker, which is totally separate from CloseBot. Okay. So Let me ask you a question though. Do you guys will it be confusing if I start doing something completely different on one side of the screen than is going on the other side of the screen? Or if you guys are okay with that, give me a thumbs up. Anyone? No? No? Okay, cool. All right. She spoke up. Thumbs up. All right, I'm gonna Andre, cool, great. So this is how I actually work with clients because testing a bot can be slow. As you can see, it's running slightly slow right now. I don't know what it would be like in the real world, but it pays to do two things at once. So while this is thinking and doing its thing, okay, great. Thank you, Josh. What's your email address? Let's say whatever. Okay. So while I'm doing this over here, I'm going to start the workflow. Yeah, I'm going to start the workflow. I'm going to need two go high level windows. I'm going to start the workflow for the affirmation bot writer. So I'll go to Harmony Hatha. I'm going to go to automation. So I'm going to make a few of these things. So I'm back on the left or on the right. Thank you for providing your email. What's your phone number? 312-777. Okay, send. Okay, so I'm going to make a new workflow. Ooh, I don't want a recipe. Sorry. From scratch. And by the way, in order to do this, what I'm about to show you, I think you need to have like the good version of, not that it's a bad version, but like the higher level version of Go High Level. So you can make your own chat GPT calls, which is what we're going to do. And I don't think it's free either. It's just like any other service. So just be aware of that. So while this is going, I'm making a new workflow. Whenever you make a new workflow, and I actually have to do this in the other workflow, make sure you go to settings. Wow, look at this. Okay, I heard this rumor was true, but it's true. This allow re-entry step used to be defaulted off. So you'd start making workflows that would only work once, and you're like, what's going on? And every single time it was because of this. So enough people actually complained recently that they just updated this. So as you create workflows, just know that people can go through them again and again now by default. And that's the behavior that we want. Okay. So that's under settings for every single automation. Okay. I'm going to go back to the builder. Just save. I'm going to change the name real quick. We'll call this affirmation writer. And we're going to use the fields that this thing sets on the affirmation bot to set these. So we're far away from integrating, but I'd like to do two things at once. Back on the right, we're chatting with the reception bot. Thank you for sharing, Josh. How can I assist you further with our yoga for kids? Are you looking for a specific age group or class schedule? That's interesting. Why did it do that? Obviously, it shouldn't have done that. I'm going to make two chatbot windows. I'm going to make two CloseBot windows so we can double task doing this. Okay, cool. So now let's go back to the modified bot. Okay, so give me a orange every time. So that means something. So there's been some sort of error going on for a while. Let's find out what it is. So if you go to logs, lead connector contact test. Okay, so 9 times out of 10, if you see a lead connector error, it actually means nothing. Frankly, lead connector is the tool that Go High Level uses as an API. And frankly, it's the error you could see down here. It says contact with ID test not found. I don't know. I mean, it's irrelevant. It has nothing to do with CloseBot. And that happens every once in a while because they're both updating constantly. But it texted me. This isn't red. If this text was red, it means that I wouldn't have gotten the text from the bot. But I did get the text from the bot. And it looks like service type. So here it's trying to attempt service type. You can see what it's attempting. Here's attempting the name. Here's attempting the email, phone, service type. So the log should probably be the same error. It is the same error. Guess or make up a response if needed. Hello. I'm reading what the bot just did for that particular step. Doesn't say anywhere to particularly pick yoga for kids, although it is in there twice, but it's not in my knowledge base twice.
Isn't that from yesterday, Josh? Yoga for kids?
I did do that yesterday, but the bot shouldn't know that, I don't think. I mean, all I can really do is, so let's try this one more time. I'm going to reset the
predetermined when you
bot.
said 7 years old or something.
I know it's weird. Like it's remembering that I wanted that, but just to double check, am I objective handling service type? See, because service type, find out what service owners are interested in. Yeah, I don't even tell this to pitch one service over the other, frankly. And it wrote something great. It did something great on its own yesterday, right? So this is, part of creating bots is troubleshooting them. It's not as I wish it was as simple as how we've been going so far and worked perfectly, but it doesn't always work perfectly. And there's technology involved from multiple parties, OpenAI, Go High Level, CloseBot. So things do kind of break a little bit. But let's try this again. So like I said, making a bot's like half making the bot, half testing it, especially when you run into trouble like this. So I'm going to hit reset. Before I do that, let me just look at the main prompting, which, if you recall, is in a custom field. So this does make it slightly more challenging to look at, but that's okay. We're smart. I want to go to Harmony Hoth. I want to go to custom fields just to make sure it doesn't say like pitch children's or kids before anything else. So that was under business info. Oop, sorry. What did I just do? This happened. Oh. All right. I want to actually look at that, edit it to look at it. So you do edit. So how many have it? So it says nothing specifically about like geared to kids. Remember, we wrote this together. So it doesn't say anything specific. So let's try this test again. Hi.
Hey, Josh, I've been kind of building along with you, and I didn't get that same response. I just got the generic, could you tell me what type of class or product you're interested in? So
Weird. Okay, thank you. So yeah, so people ask me, clients especially if you're working with a business, they're like, do you guarantee 100% uptime? And the answer is no. You really can't guarantee 100% uptime yet with a bot. You can't ever guarantee 100% uptime for any service, including Amazon Web Services on their contract, Apple, cloud, all that stuff. But it does act funky every once in a while. So I'm just doing it again, right? Just like a person would, really. So what's my full name? Josh Rose. Cool. Cool. All right, so it's gonna go back. Okay, so now let's go back over here. Hopefully that should have resolved itself. I don't have to deal with it. So I'm gonna go back to our automation we're working on. Actually, let me make sure the calendar switcher is, see, look, so we made this is funny. So we made this workflow a day or two ago, yesterday maybe, and the toggle for allow reentry is off because they didn't turn it on like default yet at Go High Level. So cool. So I caught it. So if you've been following along, make sure you go back and look at some of your stuff because allow reentry is not on by default. I'm going to save that. So that fixes it. When you get this snapshot, it'll be fixed. All right. So affirmation writer over here. Great. This thing over on the right about our yoga for kids classes. Huh. All right, I don't trust this thing. So here's what I'm going to do. So here's another thing I want to do. So I said I wasn't going to do it, but I'm going to do it. Just for us, we have so this I'm not allowed to make any more Facebook pages, not because I'm like a bad person, just because I've made hundreds in my life on my Josh Rosenfeld account. So they're just not really letting me make anymore. So what I want to do is I'm going to use an old page just for us for now so we can test on Facebook because it's much better to use Facebook Messenger to test your bot than it is either the test widget or the live chat widget because we talked about the limitations on that with caching and all this stuff. So I don't want to deal with that, frankly. So I'm going to find something that I can replace. I'll do this one. Yeah, this has no bot associated with it. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to connect to this thing, and it'll be our little secret thing until I change the name of it. But you'll be able to see this. You'll be able to talk to this bot yourselves here in real time as we do this. So I want to go to, so in Go High Level, all you got to do is go to the settings for the sub account you're on. This is what makes Go High Level just nuts powerful. Integrate. Connect with Facebook. Log in as me. You'd log in as you. I'm already logged in, so it's looking for a page. And I'm going to put it under this AMP magnet page. if you've done classes with me before, I have Agent Chatter, which is my real estate class. We've done some solar. Anything else in this thing? Yeah, there's a painter bot, but again, I couldn't do it. I couldn't make Facebook pages, so it's not there. Okay, I'm gonna hack this page. So now we can talk to the bot on Facebook. It's 10 times faster. Okay, so watch. I'm gonna say hi. Cool. So now we're gonna be testing over here. I'll center this a little bit. We're talking to the bot over here. All right, cool. So let's go back. Here's the affirmation bot. And I'm not going to put a trigger in yet. I'll do that last. I just want to create the part that writes the songs that makes the world sing. No, I'm just kidding. That writes the affirmation. All right, cool. Hi, how can I assist you with your yoga journey? Also got to get your phone number. Okay, so you're wondering why did it only ask for my phone number? And the reason is because since I came through Facebook, it already knows my name.
Has
So
your
that's
name
one
already.
advantage. What do you say?
It has your name already through Facebook.
Right. So since we use Facebook Messenger, it automatically knows my name. And since we're skipping that step in the objective, remember in name here, if it already knows the name, we're skipping it. So it just skips that step. It's great. But so we're right to phone number here. Okay, here's my phone number. Can I get your email address? Boom. Do that. Okay, let's keep going over here. This is much quicker, so testing's going to go faster. We may not be able to do two things at once, but that's good because that means this bot is working well. So I'm going to paste this link into here to this workflow document. So if you guys are in here, you can test it here. Test page. I'll change the title later of the test page. Cool. Thanks for writing. What type of classes are you in? Okay, perfect. Now it's working great. So, like I said, I don't test with the test functionality in CloseBot, which is why you didn't see me doing it too often. So I like Facebook. That's my favorite. Okay, cool. Are you looking for something relaxing, energizing, or something for kids? I'll say yoga for kids. It's fine. Let's go down that route. Look, a yoga for kid group class. That's the happy path. I want a group class for kids. Okay, cool. So now let's keep writing affirmation writer. To do this affirmation writer, we're going to be using ChatGPT externally, and we're going to be using some of the answers to these questions in CloseBot on the affirmation builder. Okay, so if I go to the affirmation builder, okay, back on the right here, we have the chat from the bot. Great choice. So right there, would you like more information on the schedule, how to enroll your child? I'll say yes. That's not the right question though. So let's see what's up with that. Okay, cool. So back on the left, if I'm going to go to the affirmation bot to see what the fields that we can use that we know will work in ChatGPT. So if you remember, the affirmation bot is going to find out what type of affirmation they want, and it's going to be set to either general wellness, yoga quotes, yoga position of the day, or surprise me. Okay, great. So look at the bot on the left. It's still working great. It asked this question that we didn't ask it to, and I'm not going to get into tweaking that question, but the reason I don't like when the bot asks questions like this is I'm saying, would you like more information? I'm not necessarily offering more information with my bot. I didn't plan to send him an email with a catalog or anything like that. So as you make your bot, be aware of these little kind of hallucinatory questions that it gives, which are great questions. But if you can't handle the yes answer, or frankly, if you don't care about the answer, like I sometimes don't really, because it's such a long, there's, so many steps in the process. But by the time they get to the end, they've scheduled with me. I have their email. I email them a confirmation. And if I want, I can email them again in Go High Level. Okay, so there's a lot of ways to deal with this, but again, look out for the bot promising things that you haven't offered or figured out yet, because it's going to. Any questions on that? Because it's kind of crazy.
Well, how do you prevent that? I mean, are you just kind of putting parameters on each individual objective, saying don't offer to send emails or?
No, you don't have to be negatively explicit, but what I'd like to do is, so I go to the dashboard. You don't always have to go to the dashboard, but since I know how now, I do. So I want to see why it asked that extra question. Yes, you can just prompt your way out of this, but I wonder why. So look, now, by the way, guys, look how everything's green. See this? So the Facebook bot is being handled much better than, I mean, this stuff's in gray. So there was something going on with the test widget. Again, I don't use it. So everything's green with our Facebook chat. Okay, so it's going to service type. So it asks 2 questions for service type. Oh, you know what's interesting? Look at my answer. I didn't say yoga for kids, which it's expecting. I said yoga is for kids, but it said great choice. So, you know, again, yes, you could do more prompting to tweak the individual answer, and I'll show you some advanced stuff in a second. So it asked the service type. It told itself to ask what type of service twice in order for it to feel confident with the answer. Okay, and I'll show you how to address that as well. So let's see why it did it here. Yoga is, like I said, I knew it. Yoga is for kids is ambiguous. So here's why. Literally, it tells you why it's continuing to respond rather than moving on. Because like I thought, yoga's for kids isn't the right answer. It's yoga for kids. But it handled it. So that's how the bot handles things that it didn't expect. And what makes it totally different from like a ManyChat or anything that doesn't use AI. If it doesn't use real AI like this, it's not really a chat bot in my eyes, because it can't handle ambiguousness. That's crazy. So, but this is where it is. So once you become good, not good at making bots, as you're making bots, and now you know to look in this dashboard, you know, you can learn a lot about why it did something. And now that I know that it's an ambiguous answer, how do we handle it? Okay. So if I go to modify bot, and while I'm doing that on the right, I'm still talking to the bot, and it's going to say, that's great to hear. Would you prefer to enroll your child in a group class where they can interact with other kids, or are you looking for a private session tailored to their specific needs? I'm going to say group class, and that should toggle the calendar variable, which we set up, and give me the right calendar back next. And if it doesn't, let's see if it does. Okay, so over here on the left, service type. So service type is where it's asking what service are they interested in, right? Which are these services here. Hot yoga, hatha yoga, yoga for beginners, yoga for kids, not yoga is for kids, right? So a few things you can do is you can change the sensitivity. So what that means is that when I said yoga is for kids, it considered it too ambiguous to pass that objective step. But if I had a low sensitivity on this bot, maybe it would have passed. So that's one thing you could try, okay? Now let's move back over to the testing, okay? Actually, I noticed that we're all booked up. Is there a specific day or time you prefer for the class? I want to try something to test to see if I'm right. So it didn't book properly conversationally. Let's find out why. I think I know why. So yes, so this now when I say again, it should come back with times. If I'm going to go to here now. Okay, it's working, and here's why. We talked about the fact that sometimes, every once in a while, CloseBot it goes too fast. So it went from class type right into booking before it had a chance to change this field, right? Remember we made this field, calendar ID? So it wasn't able to change that field fast enough. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this new type, and this is why this was created, because people needed to be able to give a pause to the CloseBot so it could catch up and then go on to the next objective. Now, so I'll do a give info, and I'm going to say thanks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell it to say thanks and ask them if they're ready to schedule. Okay. And here's why. I want them to respond to this. I don't want to say thanks and then not give them a reason to respond, because if they don't respond, the bot won't respond with the next objective, which is going to be the booking step. Okay. So, and there's no other settings here. I'm going to save this. So now it's going to go through here. It's going to say, what class are you here for? Then it's going to say thanks, and then it's going to catch up to set the calendar ID. So when it goes to booking, it'll be caught up. Cool? Cool. That's just how CloseBot works right now. It is how it is. Okay, cool. So it's I know that it's working because it's giving me time. So I'm going to continue going here. I'm not going to save this new bot yet. I'm going to continue with the test because it did get me to booking because I knew why it didn't. I fixed it. So I'm going to say Friday is great. Friday mornings are great. Now, I don't know why it didn't offer me times yet. Let's find out. So this is called conversational booking. I could have also had the bot send a link to a calendar page on their mobile device. They just, go high level calendar page. That's another option. So if you don't like conversational booking, there's a way to not do it, but CloseBot is made to do conversational booking. And it works pretty well because it just, it continues the conversation. It continues the flow. Seems like a person. It replaces the receptionist, which is the goal, frankly. I mean, I don't want to replace people, like I said, but this does replace people if it's done right. Especially when you do voice AI. Okay, so back over here. I do want to see the response. Great, so here it goes. So it's working. So fantastic. We have openings for the Yoga for Kids group class on Friday mornings. Does 8 a.m. work? I'll say 8 a.m. is great. So this is conversational booking. Right. So it's more interactive, I guess. I don't mind being sent a link to schedule, but the difference is they leave your experience. So if you send a link in the bot, which you can do, like we're going to do it with the yoga mat, once they click that, it's going to open up their browser on their phone. If you're texting them, or if I'm doing it on in Facebook, it'll open up a separate browser window. So they leave your experience. Just be aware of that. There's ways to get them back into the experience. For instance, when they complete a task externally to the bot on like a Go High Level page or a form, you could look for it to be completed and then trigger the bot to keep talking. We're not going to do that now, but that's just something you can do. So look, it says 8 a.m. is great. Perfect. I booked your child for the yoga for kids, blah, 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 8 a.m. These could be quite lifting. Okay, cool. So look, it keeps going. By the way, would you be interested in receiving daily affirmations to help you on your yoga journey? Cool. So it's working. Yes. Now it's not going to route because we didn't do routing yet. So maybe we'll do routing now. This is a crazy class today. We're doing 3 things at once, but that's okay. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to save this real quick because we're done with this test. And I'm pretty darn sure that thanks is going to fix our problem. So if you need to do a switching, if you need to do a routing, if you need to wait for a field to be set between objectives in CloseBot, be sure to, if you have that wait step. I'm kind of doing the same thing by having the question overlap on the end of the one bot routing to the next bot as the first question. It kind of handles that pause. That's essentially what we're doing. V2 of CloseBot, that will not be necessary. Okay. So yes, great. I'll start sending daily affirmations via email. I'm here on the right. And it just said that because, we have no routing. It can only use one bot. We have CloseBot set up to just go down that one bot path. We didn't make the other 3 bots. So let's do that. Okay. So I'm going to pause our affirmation bot. All we did is set up the blank workflow. We learned about retrying that retry button. So I'm going to leave this here for a second. We're going to get into the nitty gritty of CloseBot. So sorry if I went off in left field for a second, but I thought it was going to take a long time to test. And again, we solved the testing problem just by hooking it up to a Facebook page and boom, super fast. So that's how I like to do it. And I'll, this is a secret page. It's obviously not the right one, but you can talk to it. So everything for routing is going to happen in step 2, process message for CloseBot. And here's what I mean. Okay. So we talked about making these if-else conditionals that create these different branches, right? So there's so many things you could do with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to use it for routing based on what fields are set from previous questions that the bot asked. And that's how we're going to route. So what I'm going to do is right now I have just one bot only. I need to get my other 2 bots in here. Okay. So I'm going to hit the plus sign under the on. So I want basically if AI off, if that tag does not exist on the contact, I can use my bot, right? We talked about that. That's a way to turn your bot off. So if it's not off, it's on. It's going to go down this path. I want to split it one time. So I'm going to do if else. Okay. So now what we need to do is we're going to call this bot router. And what we need to do is we're going to have 3 branches. The first branch is going to be reception. Actually, no, I'm going to do something slightly different. So the first branch is going to be affirmation. Okay, and the way that I want to know, the way that it's going to switch to affirmation is I'm going to, let me think here. I need to, when this, okay, so I'm also, so I want to do something. So I'm going to change the booking step on the reception bot. I'm going to change the title because they're all, if you have multiple sub bots with booking steps, they're all named booking. And you can't do something with goals accomplished, which we talked about a little bit, which I'm going to show you, without them being named different. So just for purposes of this, I'm going to do booking reception. And you'll see why, go high level, why that is better. Okay, so the default that CloseBot gives it is booking. You might want to add a title to it. Okay, so now we have booking reception. So now what I need to do is I need to create a, okay, so here's what I'm going to do. So in go high level, I'm going to go to settings. I'm going to do custom field. Oh, no, we already have the custom field. Actually, it's, no, it's not. I'm not routing on server. So I need to make a new field, and I'm going to call this field, I'm going to do a single drop down. I'm going to call it bot ID. Not even bot ID. Yeah, just bot type. You can call this whatever you want. We're going to route by bot type. Reception, affirmation, and then what was our other bot? The I want a map bot, the buy bot. Okay. So here's the bot type. I need 3 things in here: reception, affirmation, affirmation. Doesn't matter if it's plural or not. And then the last one is buy a mat. Okay. I'm gonna save this. Okay, oops, I'm gonna put it in the fitness bot folder. Okay, so now I have a field where I can store the different values of the bot based on certain things happening. Okay, and we're going to be routing. So there's different kinds of routing you can do. So for instance, so here's an example of a flow chart for something super complicated in terms of routing, and we're not doing this, but I want to show it to you because we are doing something like this. So this is an example of a really complicated bot where the receptionist says, how can I help you? And then they say, I need pressure washing, solar cleaning, blah, 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 all the way through. That's all different bots, right? So that's routing from bot to bot based on a question. We're not doing that for this bot, okay? What we're doing for this bot is we're just going from bot to bot, right? So I need to know when each bot is done. When it's done with the reception bot, we need to switch it to the affirmation bot. Then when that's done, we need to switch it to the yoga mat bot. So this technique I'm doing is my technique for doing the routing that's actually like continuing a flow, okay? So, let's see, clean up. All right, so now that we have that bot type ID, I'm going to go back to our automations, step 2 here. Okay, so I'm going to add an if else after this on conditional. After this on in this on branch, if else, call it router, bot router. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for the affirmation. Let's do affirmation first. And I'll show you why I'm doing this first and not reception. I'm going to look for the field we just created, which is called bot ID. Or bot type. I'm sorry, bot type. So affirmate bot type is, and look at this. Here's my list of the things I just made. So now I'm going to be looking to see what that field is set to. And I'm also going to actually have to set a default for that field, I think. But we'll get to that in a second. So I need to make 2 more branches, not 3. There's 3 bots, but only 2 branches. You'll see why in a second. So I'm going to duplicate this branch. We'll call this one buy mat. And this is bot type is buy mat. Now, if you'll notice, there's this none branch. And what that means is that when this if else goes through go high level is going to say, is the bot type field affirmation? If it says no, it's going to go to the next one. This bot type buy mat says no, it's going to go to the next one. And that's it. That's the end of it. But if this was yes, it is affirmation, it stops there and goes down the affirmation path. So I'm actually going to call the none branch here reception. Okay. Yes. Okay, and now all I have to do is I'm going to duplicate, copy all actions from here. copy all actions from here over to here, and let's get 2 windows going. Okay. So now all I need to do is change the webhook ID for the bot. Very simple. So I know that the affirmation bot has ID number 10921, right? So I just go in here. I like to label it 10921. Save it. And then the buy mat is 10, what is it? 10923. Okay. And this is 10843 because we know that's a receptionist bot and it's all set up. And each of these go to that follow-up step that I showed you. So if they don't respond to this, to the bot in this one of these columns, the bot says, hey, you still want to buy a mat? Or hey, you still want the affirmation? Although this one's going to work slightly different because we're going to stop this bot after they say yes or no to getting an affirmation, because I mentioned we're going to be doing the affirmation sending, not in CloseBot. Okay. Any questions, folks? No. Okay, let's go. So let me save this real quick. Okay, so now we need to do another thing where I need to look to see if certain things happen to change what this field is so that it routes properly. Okay, so I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to take it out of the CloseBot folder and I'll call it, make a new workflow, and I'm going to call this one tool, probably a tool router or bot router. Yeah, tool. This is a tool for bot router. Okay, tool, bot router. Even though we have that step for bot router in the process message step, this tool is for bot routing, and you'll see what I mean. Routing, you'll see what I mean. Maybe we'll call it bot routing. I like to name them nicely. Okay, publish that, save it. There's nothing there. Settings. Does that allow reentry? Default on. Love it. Okay, builder. So here's what we need to do. I need a trigger where I want to look to see. So like I mentioned, in Go High Level, CloseBot creates a field called goals accomplished. And that's what we're going to use right now. I'll show you. Goals accomplished. Okay. So if I look at this, it's a lot of mess in here because it saves everything you've ever done almost. So it does get kind of messy. We're not going to talk about how to clean it up, but you don't need to. So look, remember I changed the name of booking to booking reception? There it is. So now I have a slightly different goals accomplished that I can look for. And I'll show you what I mean. Let me do one other thing. Bot type. I want to make sure there's no, oh, why is it doing that? Something selected, I feel. Yeah. Okay. Bot type. I want to make sure this has a default setting. No, I think the default is going to be this top one, which is reception, which is fine for a drop-down single. Yeah, it has to be one or the other. There's no empty state. All right, never mind. Disregard. All right, cool. So now back to this workflow that we're working on here. This bot router. So what I want to do is, I think I can do this with one router. I might need 2. So I'm going to look for this goals accomplished. So how to do this is when the contact is changed, meaning something on the contact, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, every contact in Go High Level, here's me twice because I came in through 2 different channels, but that's fine. Every contact has all the fields that you saw me messing around with. They're all here. Here's all the CloseBot fields. Look, there's goals accomplished. So these are all the goals that were accomplished for the conversation you saw in that Facebook message over here. And since I can look for this stuff and turn it on or off manually, you can do so many powerful things. So we're just going to do a slight taste of that right now. Okay, cool. So, okay, so we're looking for when the contact changes, and I want to see if the booking reception field changes. I got to go to goals accomplished. So you got to look for the goals accomplished field. So if if booking reception is added, which means that when the goals accomplished are all empty, right? These come through empty, but once these start getting checked off and CloseBot service type, boom, it checks off service type, and that's called added. So I guess that's what that term is, if you're wondering. So if booking reception is added to goals accomplished, very simple workflow here. All I want to do is update a contact field. I'll change the titles of these so they're easier for you to see. Bot type. I want to make sure that this bot type is, I want to send it to affirmation. Because remember, so this actually is a single tool. This is route to affirmation. And it only does it, so this is let me change this title for you. Booking accomplished. So once the booking is accomplished, and there's many ways to make a workflow. There's probably a dozen ways to make the one I'm doing here, but this is what we're doing for this course. So, and I'm just saying that because, you know, you're going to do this yourself and be like, oh, I could do it this way. I could do it this way. Or I need this. I need that. There's no right or wrong way to make a tool outside of CloseBot, because in the end, it's all going to route the same way as you'll see. Okay. Or as you saw, which is step 2, this little router that we made here that's looking for the bot type. Remember, we're messing with bot type. I'm looking to, so I'm changing the bot type field. So basically, once this step and the reception is completed, I want the bot to know to change over to the affirmation bot. So I'm changing the bot type. So that's what this is called. This is update bot type to affirmation. And you could have multiple triggers in here, by the way. Meaning you could have another, let's say you have a different bot that has a different workflow that you call, like, you know, let's say you have a different bot that's reception, then you have a bot for nighttime reception. They both have a booking objective. One's going to be booking daytime receptionist, or whatever you want to call it. One will be the booking nighttime receptionist. Goals accomplished, right? We're looking for that goals accomplished. So you could have another trigger for, there's many, many triggers you can put in there is what I'm trying to say. So once it goes through here, the booking accomplished, update bot, and that's all we need that to do. So I'm going to save that. So now our bot should at least route from affirmation. From reception to affirmation based on the step 2 thing we created. So I could test this right now. We're going to do that. So down here on this chat thing we've been doing, since I know that it's still talking to the Josh Rosenfeld contact and go high level, and I also know that it's on this last step here. And I also know that booking accomplished is checked. It should go right to here. It should route to the affirmations bot. And let's try it. So I'm just going to say whatever to the bot here, and it should route automatically. Route, whatever. Okay. So let's see if it routes. If it doesn't route, we'll fix it. Okay. Cool. So now we have a router. We tested the reception bot. It worked well. Now we're going through affirmation. Okay. So now we're trying to route. So let's see if it routed. And I can tell if it routed. No, so it didn't route properly. So let's fix that. Okay. So we're on the reception bot. You know what? I'm just going to start from scratch and test it one more. Actually, I'm not going to test it. So what you can do is you can go to the contact, which is, and watch, this will work. See, now watch. So we made this workflow, right, called route to affirmation. And to see if anyone went through it, I bet you no one went through this, and I'll tell you why. This is empty, which means my contact did not go through this router, so it didn't actually work at all. Didn't even know to work. So here's why. The reason is because it's the trigger that triggers this workflow. And since booking reception is already there, it doesn't see it as added. The contact isn't actually changed. Okay. So what that means is that something has to change. A character needs to be added. A field needs to change. A menu item needs to change. Literally needs to change. So in order to make this work, watch how easy this is. I'm just going to go, because I know the workflow's right. There's 2 ways to do this. I'm going to go to the contact. And I think this is, so it's this contact here that we're talking to. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to turn goals accomplished. Oh, I see. I also didn't save booking reception. That's another reason, but watch. Because we changed the name, remember? So watch. When I click this and hit save, watch what happens. So down here, if you click on the automation for a contact, you can see all the workflows it went through. Here's the CloseBot stuff. Here's the tool for the bot router. And there's the calendar switcher. So that's how I know that it was working. So now if we go back to our bot router, you'll see that I did come through, in fact, and there was no errors on the execution. So that means that now when I talk to the bot, which is over here, if I say hello, it should be the affirmation bot, and we're going to test that to see if that's the case by just looking at the dashboard for the affirmations bot after it says something. Drum roll, fingers crossed. All right, let me go to the affirmations bot. So again, the first question of the affirmation bot is the same as the last question from the previous bot. So, yep. So it's going to ask me this. Do you want daily affirmations? So it went right to what type, because it knows my name, my email, and my phone. This is great. It did exactly as we wanted. It went right to what type because it knew this stuff, right? I already said yes to this in the previous thing, but it routed perfectly. So now it's saying what type of affirmation do I want? I'll say yoga quotes. Now we're cooking with gas, folks. We got 2 bots hooked up, 1 bot. So now it should say SMS or email. And then I'll show you the contact to see all those fields are set up. So I was going to say what time. Now, before I even get it to yoga mat, yeah, so I'm going to make one more. It's over here. I know that I need to make another workflow. And I'm going to duplicate this route to affirmations workflow. And I'll call it route to biomat. Okay, so on the right, look, it worked. What choice? You want SMS or email? I'll answer that because I'm not going to edit the bot just yet, so I can let it go forward 1 step. I'll say email because I don't have A2P set up, meaning I can't send text messages from Harmony Hatha. Okay, cool. So now I want to check to see if they answer what time, once this goal is accomplished, what time I want to do the toggling just like we did before, right? So here's biomat. So now I want to see if we're going to say affirmation type accomplished. So goals accomplished added. This is what type is the name of that field, okay? So naming your stuff's important. Publish this, save that. So now we want to update this to be biomat. So now what this is going to do is when the affirmation type, when this goal is accomplished, what time on the affirmation bot, once that goal is accomplished, it's going to switch because we know that we want to go to the bio yoga mat, right? So it's going to look for that, and then it's going to take that field bot type and switch to biomat so that in our step 2, oh, darn it, I want to save that. In our step 2, just to recap, this router is using that bot type field that we're setting with those 2 workflows routing based on what the answer is, right? And if it's not set to either of these, it goes to receptionist. So which is the default setting, which is what we want. But now we're going to these different bots, okay? So now I feel that when I finish talking to this bot, it's on what time, right? And look how nice that question is. All I said was morning, afternoon, evening, and it gave me some nice choices. So I'll say evening. Sounds great. So now it's going to ask me if I want to buy a yoga mat, but it should switch to the next bot, which is, do you want to buy a yoga mat? And I'm going to say yes, because we're doing the happy path right now. Nice. Are you interested in enhancing your practice with one of our official Hatha yoga mats? Oh, yes. Please. So now, if we did this right, it should give me a link. Okay. So while we wait, let's see. So that's working awesome. So notice I said that as you answer these questions, the contact, let me refresh this. Would you like any specific color? Just a standard gray. Again, I didn't tell it that our mats come in different colors, but I'll say gray sounds great. We'll tweak this bot later. So look, so the contact that I'm using to talk to this bot over here, look at all these goals that have been accomplished. Check, 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 right? So notice, so there's all these fields that I created are in this fitness bot section. Yoga for kids, wants a group class. Here's a calendar ID we're doing. These are on here, but this is something that CloseBot's using, so don't worry about it. Affirmation types, it wants yoga quotes, emailed, evening, the bot types on affirmation. Great choice. No. Okay, so let's just double check to see that it routed. I don't see that it routed properly, frankly. So this should say buy a mat. It should be on the bot type buy a mat. So still on affirmation. Possibly because I was going faster. I was going too fast. So I know this is not here. So I'm on buy a mat bot. I'm going to go to dashboard. It should be blank. No, it's not blank. So why is it not giving? Oh, it is blank. So it's not hitting this buy a mat bot. So let's see why. So let's just double check. Our bot router in here, bot type is buy a mat. So we know that's right. So it's got to be either here. So nothing came into this. Nothing came in here. So affirmation type added what type? Update bot type. Oh, it's to buy a mat. This is the title though. Okay, I think we can test this another way. Okay, so all I got to do is to test this out. I know that I just need to mess around with this goals accomplished. So I'm going to go to goals accomplished and I'm going to turn off what type and save it. Now I'm going to add what type and it should trigger that thing, right? Should trigger that workflow. I save it. If I go down here, yep, route. It should say route to
Wasn't it what time?
you're right. Thank you. Maybe. Let's look. You're right. Okay. So thank you. So I did this wrong, folks. So I want the router to be if goals accomplished is what time. And I skipped that. I didn't get that. I added this after the affirmation bot was slightly changed. Okay, cool. So what time? So I'm gonna save that. Let me change that. What time? Affirmation time. What time? Okay. Thank you. Okay, so buy mat. Okay, so now I can manually trigger this. I'm gonna take off what time, put it back. And I'm gonna add it again. And now when I look at the automations, there it is, route to buy mat. If I hit, look, the bot type has changed to buy mat. So now when I say yes, again, it's gonna route and it should start giving me the link. Yeah, when you stare at bots for 5 hours, you kind of mess up. So thank you for that catch. Paying attention very well. So let's see. Yes. So it saw that I said yes, so I know that it's on this bot, excuse me. And it's starting to come through. Here's your link. Booyah. Okay, so I don't have that link doesn't exist. So let's take some notes here. Any questions, folks? This is a big class. Or you all got it perfect. That'd be great. Okay, so we fixed this. Lot to do. Oh boy, there's quite a bit to do. So here's what I'm thinking, folks. when I started to do this challenge, I said it was going to be 5 to 7 days. In order to do all this, I don't think I can get this all done tomorrow. Would anyone be terribly upset if I continue this class on Monday and maybe Tuesday of next week? I mean, I'm going to anyways because I can't get it done. And if you can't make it, you can watch the video. But there's no way that we can get this far in one day. But I know I can get this far in 3 days. So unless that's a problem, that's what I'm going to have to do. I'll change this to the 7-day fitness bot challenge. So you see it. This is going to be through Friday. And so Tuesday, June 8th, 9th, 10th, whatever day that is. What day is that? 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. Okay. Okay, so to wrap up, we did a lot today. So we connected this bot to a Facebook page using Go High Level. You saw how easy it was, enabled us to do really fast testing. We were having some issues with the testing feature here in CloseBot. So we just bypassed it, went right to integrating with Facebook. And we tested our bots one by one. We kind of tweaked some of the prompting to fix it one by one. We didn't fix everything. It's not totally perfect. We're going really quickly here. We have our knowledge base that works. Hey, Paul, 1 second. I'll hit you up. And we still have this to do. Yeah, I mean, we need to make a product page for the yoga mat. All the bots are working. They're taking the information for affirmations. It is offering them the yoga mat when they say yes. All we need to do is handle for no. The summary email will be easy. The affirmation writer should be easy. We'll see how far we can get tomorrow. Paul, what's up, man?
Just a quick question. I know it's outside of the scope of what you're doing, but when it asked to schedule a child for that class, I think a reception would ask, what's the child's name?
Yeah, you could do
Also,
that.
so
Yeah,
would you do that in that same section, or did you do
Slightly
something
different. That's a great question. So the answer is no, you can't. So, but the contact is the parent. So what he's asking is, and this is a great question. Let's say you have a service where the parents are signing up, but you need to know the kid's name to do the service, like a birthday party or a clown, like whatever. There's lots of reasons you do it, which I think is what you're saying. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So what I would do is, and what I've seen done actually is I would be the parent, and then I would have to make custom fields for child's one's name blank field. And then the bot would say, great, what's your child's name?
Okay.
Josh or Steve or whatever. Then it would save that to a field called child's name. And if you have more than one child, I mean, you'd have to handle that. I mean, that gets more complex. If they have 12 kids, I mean, the CloseBot would keep having to ask until they say I have no more. And you can actually have CloseBot. We're not going to, and you can look for specific answers to questions and do different things. I wasn't going to get into this until we do the no bot, but like there's all this prompting down here for pass and fail answering, which we'll do. So you have to be something. I mean, with one kid, it's easy. With 3 kids, it gets more challenging. With 10 kids, it gets really hard. But you can do it. I've seen people do it that way. Cool. Awesome.
And then you would ask, but I know you would set the fields, but you would ask that in a different spot though, right?
Yeah. So like I would have, so if you're talking about like the reception bot.
Yeah.
So let's say that my service was, so let's say that they said, I want yoga for kids here. What I could do is.
Because you're only going to ask that for yoga for kids, because if it's for yourself, you're going to register yourself.
So what I would do is I would make a separate workflow that looks to see if this field has been changed to yoga for kids. And if it has, I would make sure that after the next question's class type, I would use this as the first question in my next bot to find out the kid's name specifically. I would make a separate bot to do that because you don't get that much room in one bot. I only get these 6 lanes, right? And you can see that it quickly gets filled up. So once you know how to make bots and route between them, which just takes a couple times learning and figuring it out and like watching me do it and doing it yourself, you'd be like, okay, I get it. You could do anything you want. You could bring the lead in and out of a bot by looking and then back into a bot. I've seen people do crazy things like that just by skipping goals that are already accomplished with this switch. So there's lots of cool things people are doing. to move out and ask specific questions, like if kids, then go out and ask what are the kids' names, and then go back in and finish the booking.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Thank
just
you.
a more it's a way more advanced, not way more, but it's just a more advanced technique, right? Like the most advanced thing we're doing now is changing the booking reception calendar based on, you know, what class type they want. But it can get crazy complicated. It's just how good you are and go high level at that point, really.
You know, along those lines, I was thinking, like, after it said, okay, they're booked, that typically there would be some sort of like, okay, like, here's what you need in order to be prepared for the class, or make sure you bring this to the class, or a waiver. So, I mean, you could send that in the email, but what if you did a pop-up opt-in form? Could that be possible that you
So
say,
what you could, yeah, you mean like the bot would say, click here, then an opt-in form happens and the bot keeps going?
well, like they said, okay, they're scheduled. Now just click here to fill out.
Yeah,
You
you can do that.
And then on that form, they could put the kids' names.
Yeah, that's an
They
easier
could
way.
put their ages, they could
good idea.
put, and then
Good
they're
idea.
staying within the bot, the conversation, instead of like emailing that to them, and then maybe they don't do it and all that sort of stuff.
That's a good solution too. So what she's saying is you could take them out of the CloseBot and just give them a regular form with a bunch of empty form fields, hit submit. You could actually look to see if that form has been submitted and then trigger the bot to start talking to him again.
Yeah, if it was like,
Yeah.
could it be like a go high level form or something?
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
And then you do a
And
go
then-
high level trigger, say if form complete. You send an
Yeah.
override message to the bot, which tells the bot to say something and be able to answer it. I'm not going to do in the other challenges I do override messages all the time. And what we may do it when we get to the affirmation portion. But yeah, there's so many different ways to do something with CloseBot and with go high level. Then when you put both of them together, it's even exponentially bigger, the possibilities. And then it's all about testing. I mean, you'll try a thing and then you got to test it. And then it might be in the middle of a flow. So you got to go through the beginning to get to the middle. But if you can learn how to turn on and off, fields or turn on and off goals accomplished and change pull down menus to route on your own, it also makes testing a lot easier. Testing is like an art, not an art, but it's just like, it's such a pain. It's not automated yet either. So, yeah. Any more questions? Awesome. You guys are amazing. I'll see y'all tomorrow, 7:00, same time, Friday night class. We'll see how far we can get, and we'll know if we need to keep going with a couple more classes, but I want to make sure you guys get exactly what I said you would get, for most of it at least. Okay, cool. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank
So-
you.